Dear students, let us we study today about the periodic properties. In the last class, we have studied about the modern periodic table. So, the properties that repeat after certain regular intervals when elements are arranged in the increasing order of their atomic numbers are called periodic properties or periodicity of properties. The periodic properties are atomic and ionic radii, number 2, ionization enthalpy, third, electron gain enthalpy, fourth, electronegativity, and other properties like metallic characters, non-metallic characters, and so on. Before discussing the periodic properties, we shall discuss some important concepts which are useful in having a clear understanding of periodic properties. These are shielding or screening effect, and second one, effective nuclear charge. Let us we study what we mean by shielding or screening effect. In a multi-electron atom, the valence shell electrons are attracted by the nucleus and also at the same time repelled by the electrons present between the nucleus and the valence shell electrons. As a result, the actual force exerted by the nucleus on the valence shell electrons is partially decreased by the presence of repulsive force exerted by the inner shell electrons on the valence shell electrons. This effect is called shielding effect or screening effect. Greater the number of inner shells, greater is the magnitude of shielding effect caused by the inner shell electrons on the valence shell electron. As we go down in a group, the number of inner shell electrons increases and hence shielding effect also increases. Taking an example, if I take lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium and cesium, these are the elements present in the first group, and if we consider their electronic configuration, for lithium it is 2 and 1, sodium 281, potassium 2881, rubidium 281881, and for cesium it is 2818, 18, 8 and 1. This shows that all these elements contain one electron in the valence shell. But the number of electrons in the inner shells will be 2, 10, 18, 36 and 54 respectively, and the number of shells in these elements when we go down is 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Because of increase in the number of shells, the valence electrons are far away from the nucleus. Hence, the shielding effect increases when we go down in a group. For a given shell, the penetration power of electrons decreases as we move from S subshell to F subshell. In other words, the electrons in the S subshell have greater penetration power than the P, D and F subshells. Similarly, the same thing is given for S, P, D and F orbitals. The value of L is equal to 0, 1, 2 and 3 respectively. Hence, the penetration power of S, P, D and F orbitals belonging to same shell decreases as the value of L increases. Due to greater penetration power of S electron, it shields the nucleus more effectively than a p electron, which in turn screens the nucleus more effectively than d electrons, and so on. Thus, the decreasing order of shielding effect is Ns is greater than Np, which is greater than Nd, and which is further greater than Nf. Coming to the another property called effective nuclear charge, which is given as ZEFF. EFF means effective. The atoms containing the more number of electrons in the inner shells, the valence electrons experiences less attractive pull from the nucleus. The decrease in the attractive force reduces the nuclear charge of the element. This decreased nuclear charge is called effective nuclear charge, represented as Z effective. It is given by the equation the Z effective is equal to Z minus sigma, where Z is atomic number of an atom and sigma is a constant called screening constant. This constant is a measure of the extent to which the other electrons in an atom are able to screen the nucleus from the chosen electron. Greater is the number of electrons intervening between the nucleus and the outer electrons, more will be the magnitude of screening constant, and hence the magnitude of effective nuclear charge will decrease. The value of the screening constant can be calculated from Slatter's rule. To do this, the Slatter rules, we have one by one the points to be noted. Write down the complete electronic configuration of the element and divide the electrons into the following orbital groups starting from the inside of the atom. That is, so 1s, 2s, 2p, 3s, 3p, next comes 3d, next 4s, 4p, next 4d, 4f, 5s, 5p, 6s, 6p, and so on. So after writing the electronic configuration of the atom, select the electron for which the value of screening constant is to be calculated. For this calculation, add up the contributions to sigma for the other electrons according to the following Slatter's rule. So according to the Slatter rules, the first one, all electrons in groups outside the electron chosen are 0. So for example, if I take the electronic configuration of sodium is 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s1. If I want to calculate the electron of 2p, then according to the Slatter rule, the 3s electron, the contribution is 0. The second rule says all electrons in the same group as chosen one is 0.35 or 0.30 for 1s electron. So this I will explain by taking an example further. All electrons in the shell immediately inside will be 0.85. All electrons further inside will be the contribution of sigma is 1. So these are the 4 rules given by a Slatter, hence this is known as Slatter's rule. Now let us, in order to understand the above rules, let us consider the following examples. Now, calculate the effective nuclear charge experienced by the 4s electron in potassium atom. Now here, how to calculate the effective nuclear charge of the 4s electron in potassium? We know the potassium atomic number is 19 and its electronic configuration is 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 4s1. If I want to calculate the effective nuclear charge of the 4s electron, atomic number of potassium is 19 minus, now before the 4s will be 3s2, 3p6. So these 3s2, 3p6, there are 8 electrons are there in the third shell, and these 8 electrons should be multiplied by a constant 0.85. Therefore, it becomes 0.85 into 8 plus the inner electrons. How many inner electrons in the second and first shell are there? So in the first shell 2 electrons, in the second shell 8 electrons. So 8 plus 2 will be 10. Therefore, so this we have to multiply by 1. Therefore, the effective nuclear charge of the 4s electron in potassium is 19 minus 0.85 into 8, that is 6.8, plus 1 into 10, that is 10. It will be 16.8. 19 minus 16.8 will be 2.20. This is the effective nuclear charge experienced by 4s electron in potassium atom. Let us take another problem. Calculate the effective nuclear charge of the last electron in an atom whose configuration is 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p5. So the electronic configuration shows that the atom contains 17 electrons. Therefore, this atom is chlorine. So, in this, I am calculating the effective nuclear charge of the last electron, which is present in 3p. Effective nuclear charge is equal to atomic number of chlorine is 17 minus, here in the last shell, except that last electron, there are still 6 electrons are present. These 6 electrons should be multiplied by a factor, that is 0.35. That's why we say 0.35 into 6. And inside of this third shell, that is a second shell. In the second shell, we have the how many electrons? 8 electrons are there. Therefore, it is 0.85 into 8. And in the next subsequent inner shell, we have only 2 electrons. Therefore, that should be multiplied by a factor 1 into 2. If you add all these things, 17 minus 2.5 plus 6.8 plus 2, it will be 17 minus 10.9. This will be 6.1. So, for chlorine, effective nuclear charge is 6.1. For potassium, it is 2.2. Greater the effective nuclear charge value, greater the efficiency of attracting the valence electrons towards the nucleus. That's what it is written. Effective nuclear charge increases across the period and decreases down the group. Here, this is a slide that shows once again the shielding effect. The inner electrons, they shield the attraction between the nucleus and outer electron. In case of chlorine, so there are 10 inner electrons are there and 7 valence electrons are there. Whereas in case of magnesium, there also it contains the inner electrons, but outer only 2 electrons are there. Therefore, in case of chlorine, the 17 minus 10 becomes plus 7. In case of magnesium, 12 minus 10 becomes plus 2. So, the plus 7 effective nuclear charge here in another way is the chlorine is having more positive charge, therefore its shielding effect or its effective nuclear charge is more. In case of magnesium, its value is only plus 2, therefore it is having less effective nuclear charge. So here, this is a slide, it also shows about the shielding effect. The shielding effect is the reduction of attractive force between the nucleus and its outer electrons due to the blocking effect of the inner electrons. So this is also one more slide showing about the effective nuclear charge. So the effective nuclear charge, how it affects. The term effective is used because the shielding effect of negatively charged electrons prevents higher orbital electrons from experiencing the full nuclear charge by the repelling effect of inner layer electrons. So this is a slide that shows about once again the effective nuclear charge. So it depends on both the fact that valence electrons are both, they are attracted to the nucleus and also they are repelled by the other electrons. Therefore, effective nuclear charge increases across the period and effective nuclear charge decreases down the group. The shielding effect or effective nuclear charge, the value, which is already I have told you about this. The effective nuclear charge is calculated using the equation Z effective is equal to Z minus sigma, where sigma is called the shielding constant or screening constant. The same, the Slater rules is also have explained. So this slide also shows how to calculate the screening constant using Slater's rule. So the values are given in this, what you can say, the slide. That is the step 1, write the electronic configurations of the atom in the following form. That once again I am repeating the Slater rule here, 1s, 2s, 2p, 3s, 3p, 3d, 4s, 4p and so on. Identify the electron of interest and ignore all electrons in higher groups because there they are to be considered as 0. These do not shield electrons in the lower groups. That's why they are considered as 0. The step 3, the shielding experienced by S or P electrons and the shielding experienced by D or F electrons. You have to note down about this. For S and P electrons, Ns and Np valence electrons, so use the values 0.35 for the same the shell except the 1s shell, which is 0.30. Electrons within the n-1 group shield value is 0.85. Electrons within n-2 or lower groups shield value is 1. For D and F orbital electrons, for Nd or Nf valence electrons, electrons within the same group will be 0.35. Electrons within the lower groups will be directly the 1. It is not 0.85. So these are the values to be remembered to calculate the screening constant or effective nuclear charge. Here there is a question and how this can be explained. Using Slater rule confirmed that experimentally observed electronic configuration of potassium is 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 4s1 is energetically more stable than the configuration of 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6 and 3d1. So this can be explained based on the values calculated from the effective nuclear charge. Based on this, we have some questions, how questions can be framed using the Slater rule. That is, the question is, why 4s electrons prefer to remove than 3d electrons? So this can be explained by calculating the value of effective nuclear charge acting on one of the 4s or 3d electrons. In this, consider an example, the element vanadium. Its atomic number is 23 and its electronic configuration is 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 3d3, 4s2. Now in this, effective nuclear charge acting on one of the 4s electron. So when I consider the 4s electron, effective nuclear charge Z effective is equal to Z minus screening constant. Z, that is atomic number, is 23 minus, I have taken the 4s electron. So in the 4s there are 2 electrons. I am calculating the last electron. That means still 1 electron is there in the 4s. That's why the value is, it is to be multiplied by 0.35. That's why it is 0.35 into 1. The next, it contains how many the electrons in the inner shell? That is the third shell. The third shell contains the 3s2, 3p6, 3d3. So totally the 11 electrons. Therefore, it has to be multiplied by 0.85 into 11. And inside electrons, that is in the second and the first shell, it includes the 10 electrons. Therefore, it is 1 into 10. So if you add all these values, we get 0.35 plus 9.35 plus 10. It will be 19.7. 23 minus 19.7 will be 3.30. Therefore, effective nuclear charge acting on one of the 4s electron is 3.30. Now let us calculate the effective nuclear charge acting on 3d electrons in vanadium. So when I take the 3d, even though it contains 2 electrons in the 4s, their values will be 0. Therefore, effective nuclear charge is equal to 23 minus the screening constant. In the 3d, there are 3 electrons. You are calculating for 1 electron, the 2 more electrons will be there. That's why it is 0.35 into 2. And since this electron is in the 3d, whatever the electrons are there inside, their value is taken as 1. So inside totally we have 18 electrons. Therefore, it is multiplied by 1 into 18. Therefore, the value becomes 23 minus 18.70, that's equal to 4.3. From this, it is clear that 3d electron is having greater effective nuclear charge than the 4s electron. Therefore, 3d electrons are more tightly held to the nucleus than the 4s electron. Hence, 4s electrons prefer to remove than 3d. This is how you have to give the answer for this question. So, this earlier we used to say as anomalies of electronic configuration, But now experimentally we have calculated based on screening effects and effective nuclear charge. There is one more question. Why 4s orbital is filled before 3d orbitals? This can also be explained on the basis of concept of effective nuclear charge. So consider the electronic configuration of potassium, atomic number 19, and electronic configuration is 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 3d0, 4s1. Here 4s orbital is filled before 3d orbital. The effective nuclear charge will be here. So for 4s, you are calculating. So only one electron is there in the 4s. Inside the third shell, how many electrons? 8 electrons are there. This value should be multiplied by 0.85. That's why 0.85 into 8 plus inside how many, that is in the second shell and in the first shell, total electrons are 10. Therefore, it is 1 into 10. So the value becomes 19 minus 16.2. It will be 2.20. Suppose if I consider the electronic configuration of potassium as 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 3d1, 4s0. In that case, the effective nuclear charge would be, the electron is present in the 3d, you are calculating the effective nuclear charge of that. There is no other electrons are there in the 3d, so you have to calculate only the inner electrons. How many inner electrons are there? Totally there are 18 inner electrons, so that should be multiplied by 1. So it will be 19 minus 18 will be equal to 1. From this it is clear that 3d value is less than 4s electron value. Therefore, the potassium electron prefer to enter into 4s orbital than 3d orbital. So these are the points, the confirmation, even what we have studied, the anomalies. These anomalies are confirmed with the help of the shielding effect and also the effective nuclear charge by the calculations of the Slater rules. Students, go through these things and try to understand the problems on the Slater rules. Thank you.